Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Loan Off Their Wealth podcast. Today, we are blessed to be with Anthony Forte. Anthony, thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, Chris. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, just for our listeners and viewers to get to know you a little bit better, can you let us know how you got into the mortgage business
Oh,
and where your team sits currently?
wow, we're going deep. This is over 20 years ago. I got into
Wow.
the mortgage business. Yeah. So I got in because of a really good friend of mine. His dad was in business, and we were always kind of enchanted and intrigued with the kind of company his dad kept.
Okay.
And his dad said, "Look, you should meet a buddy of mine, see what he does." He was a mortgage broker back then, and I did. I liked it. Started talking about money, and for a 20-year-old kid, it was blowing my mind. I was mind blown. It was an incredible process. I ended up working as a mortgage broker for a couple of months, and then answered an ad from a mortgage bank in Long Island, and started working from there. The rest is history.
That is amazing. So, you started in the broker channel,
I
went
did.
to the banking channel, and now are back in the broker channel.
I literally was a couple of months in that broker channel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, really I liked what I was doing, and I kind of got sucked into the banking world. And there I stayed for over a decade.
Wow. That is crazy. And now, so bring us up to speed at Quintessential Mortgage Group. Tell us a little bit about the company size and what you're doing there.
So the company was founded in 2013 by my partner David Lynn. We are over 100 team members now,
Wow.
with two branches, or three, actually, our corporate branch in White Plains, and we have a branch in Miami, another one in Brooklyn, Bensonhurst, with others opening up in the next couple of months. We have one in Sacramento opening, we have one in Charleston, South Carolina opening, and many more. We have over 90 loan officers. We're the biggest and baddest mortgage broker in New York State.
That is amazing. And so I know there's going to be people out there thinking like, how do you grow that fast with all those offices that you're opening? Like, how do you recruit people to the brand that are interested in coming on at that rate?
Well, I'll tell you that, the first, so we opened 10 years, about a decade. The first 3 or 4 years kind of slow moving, but the market kind of cooperated, right? So back 2000, 2013, 2014, mortgage brokering wasn't as popular as it is today. I
Yep.
still think we kind of had the mortgage broker hangover back then, where we were still kind of being blamed for a lot of stuff that happened, negative things back in 2008, 2009. Like I said, I was a mortgage banker at that point, and my partner brought me on and showed me this real wholesale world on the mortgage side. But the market has really been cooperating to help us grow. And when I say that, I mean that, interest rates going up, there being a very volatile interest rate kind of market surrounding mortgages has helped us because our margins are and Chris, you know this, as mortgage brokers, our margins are very low. And, New York State, for example, limits us at 2.75% compensation per file. The whole rest of the banking world can make anything they want. They can make 3 points, 4 points, 5 points. So the end result is loan officers, as rates are going up, are beginning to care more and more about what rate they're offering their client.
Right.
And it's becoming more and more important because they're getting a lot of kickback from clients saying, look, I like you, you're a great guy, but the rate's kind of high for me. So the
Yep.
market really doing what it did, it is propelling loan officers to come over from the retail and the correspondent side over to the mortgage broker side. And, I need to absolutely mention the operational staff that we have here,
Yep.
because we have the operational staff that you would find at a bank, and a really good one. I mean, our VP of operations was a very big underwriter at a local bank here who did business nationally, and she's supervising our operations department. So, the kind of support that the loan officers are getting is big, and they're telling other loan officers.
Yep. I think to go out and get the business is one thing. To have the confidence to know that it's going to close and that they're going to have a fantastic experience is a whole other.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's difficult, and it's going through some difficult periods during COVID and everything else. Everything kind of got tested.
Yep, absolutely. So, Like changing gears a little bit to the actual forward-facing generation of customers. Where are the majority of the customers coming from the people that you have in your organization that are the most successful?
Well, I think that you're talking about now sources of business, where our business comes from at Quintessential. So we're a purchased first company. We don't go looking for refinances. We do refinances when they come to us, when someone's referred over from a client, or maybe a client that we've helped in the past. But we're a realtor marketing to realtor mortgage companies. We feel like a real estate agent is going to be our biggest and best partner in the industry. Try to align ourselves with as many different real estate offices and individual agents as we can. And it's been very, very fulfilling, I think, for them and for us.
Absolutely. And those relationships with realtors, I mean, they're fulfilling in the fact that you get lots of great clients and a consistent, steady flow. But it's also when you partner with the right realtor, that can also be a fantastic relationship. It makes it fun to come into the office every day and work with people that you respect and have friendships with.
Yeah, it does. It really does. And I always tell the loan officers, they're coming and they want to be mentored, or they want to talk about building their business. I say the best way you can build your business and build your referral sources is to really, truly, and sincerely befriend the people that you're working with. And it becomes, not like a job anymore. Like, hey, you got to talk to my buddy. He's great at what he does. And that's when things really get rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I know there is a flip side of that coin. So when I got into the mortgage brokering business, boy, man, 15 years ago, my dad was a broker, brought me into the business, and I don't know what I did as a kid, but the first thing that he did was he stuck me on the rate sheets and donuts circuit. So 3 days a week, I'd drive around all the major real estate offices with my box of donuts and my rate sheets.
That's awesome.
And yeah, and I know that there are some people on the other line of this podcast that say, you know what, realtors, I think I'll pass. I don't see that as a good opportunity for business. So I often think that that's just you're not immature, you just haven't spoken to enough of those partners in the local marketplace. So how do you coach people in your organization to go find the right relationships that are actually going to help them grow the business?
I there's probably a textbook answer to this, but I'm going to give you a rather unconventional answer.
Yeah.
And what I say is to meet everyone you can every day.
Hmm.
And don't turn down any meetings, and in fact, seek them out every day.
Yeah.
Because the only way you're going to know who's a good agent or who's a good, because being a good realtor, maybe that means producing realtor in some circles, someone who produces business on a consistent basis, doesn't mean that you can work well together.
Yeah, that's right.
So you really have to get out there and meet a lot of people and see who you gel with and see who you're kind of synergetic with, and go with it from there. I have some really good real estate partners that I got to tell you, I really didn't think that we would get along and do the kind of business that we do. And then there's some people that we were peas in a pod from from the moment I met them.
Yep, absolutely. Now, the market has changed significantly. And it went from, 2 years ago, very difficult to get in to talk to a realtor because they were so busy with so much business. It was just, they didn't have time for the conversation. Now, shoes kind of on the other foot. So,
Right.
what are you seeing as the best way to go out and open up a conversation with a new realtor? Somebody that a loan officer doesn't have a relationship with, or a mortgage broker doesn't have a relationship with them. What's the best way to do that cold outreach to start to open up that relationship?
That's a really good question. And that's the question that everyone wants the answer to, right? That's you're saying, how do I go out and build my business? And during this time where I feel like everyone's attacking the agents for their
Yeah.
business, right? Okay. So yes, that's really happening. Everyone's kind of waited and didn't have time. Although I've been pushing everyone here to market all through COVID. I said,
Yep.
you don't want to be the guy that's out there when everyone else is knocking on their door. The answer to your question is, it really helps to be a mortgage broker right now.
Ah,
Because if I pick up the phone and I say, hi, Jane, Jane Smith, realtor, my name's Anthony Forte. I'm a mortgage broker. I'm not a banker. I'm not a correspondent. Probably not the people that you're working with, but we're doing a lot of unique, different things in mortgages. And I want to tell you about it. Give me 10, 15 minutes. I'd love to buy you a cup of coffee or take you to lunch. If you do that 10 times a day, you're probably going to set up 2 or 3 meetings a week for yourself. And then, it's a numbers game, right? Again, going back to who do I gel with, who, we had a great convo, and things of that nature. But it really helps to be a mortgage broker right now because it can help you kind of break the ice. There are a lot of agents out there that never dealt with a mortgage broker. They got into business in the last 10 years. It hasn't been a very popular job in the last 10 years, excluding the last 2 or 3. And they just never got around to meeting one.
Yeah. So you have that meeting, you're sitting down with a realtor. What are the 3 benefits to being a broker that you'll present to that realtor to make them see the difference between a broker and potentially somebody that they're already working with?
So the one I'm going to highlight right now is the one that we just started talking about off camera, which is in a volatile market, you want to be able to pivot all around with your loan application. And that doesn't mean going from bank A to bank B to bank C and having all your information transferred all over the place. You want to work with a mortgage broker that can do all of that internally.
Yeah.
And so whatever problem happens, if you get a loan and it starts off as a conventional loan, it's got to go to FHA, no problem for us. Stays right here, all your information safe and secure. Okay. Second reason is margins. Brokers work on a transparent margin system where we only make X amount of basis points, and it is a fraction of what the banks and the correspondents are making. So if you're an agent and you're referring and you're tired of hearing, you're referring a mortgage bank or a correspondent lender, which is what I did for a decade, and you're tired of hearing, hey, those rates are a little bit higher. Chris was a great guy, but his rate was a little bit high. That can start to frustrate you as an agent. On the wholesale side, mortgage brokering, it's much, much better. The margins are much lower. The rates are much lower. I mean, it's absolutely what you want. And the third reason is because of flexibility. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No trouble.
We have so many more product and program than your typical bank. I mean, imagine this. We are a company that works with 42 different banks currently. Now, would you rather go to a bank and deal with that bank? Or would you rather deal with a company that has the connections, has the relationships with 40 different banks, every product and program under the sun? I mean, it's a pretty, what do you think?
That is a very compelling offer.
Right? Run your credit one time and that's it. And by the way, it's a softball. Can't say no to a softball.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. So this is just out of pure curiosity. Do you market to other lenders that will see clients that just don't fit in the box that they're currently working with and work to generate referrals from other people within the mortgage industry?
Just starting to. Really just starting to get out there and start to do that. We've renovated our website in a way where we can collect information and organize it properly to start to be able to do that. Because, as a mortgage broker, you have a lot of people that depend on us for a lot of things. But one of those things is, hey, I'm in trouble. X bank started this application. They're not closing out on this. How can I get your help to get it wrapped up? And that happens a lot.
Okay. And then what about, I hear oftentimes just the workload of being a broker as far as compliance. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that think that, hey, I'm going to make this switch to being a broker. And then all of a sudden everything falls on my plate. And I'm just like, how do you have time to originate loans if you're worried about all of this other stuff? So what are those normal pain points and what does it actually look like on the other side?
So the other side can be a scary place. I mean, you're touching on a really, really good point. I think at the end of this, you probably will think to yourself, why doesn't everyone just become a mortgage broker already? Right? And the answer is they probably should, but it's very, very difficult starting out. You have to have, Quintessential Mortgage Group has a compliance team, a law firm that we retain full time, does all your compliance, everything for you. A 10 person processing team here in-house that does everything for you. A setup team that takes your loan from doing the disclosures to ordering appraisals to making sure it's done, making sure your file's committed, doing all the upfront stuff that loan officers usually do. And it's those teams that make it okay and nice and more profitable become a broker. Typically people become a broker, they go to a broker shop and they're left to do a lot of those responsibilities themselves. And that can be a very, very difficult thing. And at times the trade-off maybe isn't even worth it. But we are set up to facilitate, I say this for lack of better word or phrasing, just like a bank, we're set up in that way to take all that off your shoulders as an originator.
Got it. Okay. So compliance, processing, follow up. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get the broker focused on going out and doing what is ultimately the job, which is going out, getting loans, meeting with realtors, meeting with clients, calling their past customer database, all that wonderful stuff.
Yeah, we created a mortgage based application to help loan officers do that as well. We have an app for Android or iPhone that will allow a loan officer to take a full application, run a credit, and issue pre-approval from the phone. And
Amazing.
it's also going to allow the realtor, if you're a realtor and you want to send me a client, in fact, I just got off the phone with one before I got you on the line. And he's like, I'm going to share your app to one of my clients. You can very simply share our app to the realtor. Realtor sets up their own page, and then they can share that app, and you get the application electronically as soon as you come in the morning. It's sitting there, it's waiting for you. Just got to click a few buttons and you're off, you're going.
That is incredibly valuable.
Doesn't get
And
easier than that, but you have to invest in that. We have invested quite a bit in our technology to make sure we're on par with a lot of these other billion-dollar companies.
yes, and we're seeing a lot more of that. Technology is moving faster and faster, and with artificial intelligence now being part of the mix, we're seeing that curve go much faster. As a matter of fact, our company, just as a little aside, we just finished a 100% automated financial planning piece of software that connects through ChatGPT to actually pump out a fully customized financial plan for somebody using artificial intelligence. So they come onto the form, they take a little survey, and boom, it pumps out a complete financial analysis. So you're seeing tools like that. I mean, we spun that up in less than 30 days. You couldn't do that 60 days ago. So the speed of technology right now is just incredible.
Really is. Chat GPT is out of control.
That it
You
is.
can type anything into that. I don't know if you've seen that, Katie. It's out of control.
We are all over it.
Yeah.
And we're using artificial intelligence to rank mortgage websites on the front page of Google right now. It's actually that's a different conversation for a different time.
Okay.
Um, but cool stuff. So thank you for being so generous with your time. I do have one final question because we talked a little bit about opening the relationship up with the realtor. Obviously, you got to get on phones, you got to get to those appointments, never eat alone. You go through all that work.
Love that book, by the way. That's a good. Were you just saying that, or it's a book? Never eat
Yeah,
alone.
no, I know that's a book. Yeah,
Great
again,
book.
yeah.
Yeah, very good.
And Brian Tracy, I believe.
Yeah, very good book.
And so you get that relationship. Now, one of the pain points that I see in the marketplace right now is, like you said earlier, everybody's working the realtors right now. So you secure this relationship, it's relatively new. You know they're getting calls from lenders all day long. What are you doing to secure that relationship, to make sure that it's strong and to make sure that it becomes a profitable long-term relationship? What are your strategies for that?
I wish there was magic. It's service, 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 service.
Yeah.
Just once someone starts to like you a little bit, and if you got all the product and program I'm telling you have, what's left? It's just service, response time, getting commitments quickly, getting commitments when everyone needs them, being vocal when there's a problem, being there when there's a problem, solving problems. It's all goes into the service at that point.
Yeah, that is so true. Well, that is incredibly valuable. Anthony, I know how busy you are. Thank you so much for taking time to be on the show. I truly appreciate it. Where can people go to get more information about you, and how do people find you?
They can go to our Instagram page at Quintessential Mortgage Group or our webpage at qmgllc.com.
qmgllc.com, and all that information will be on the show notes. And for all y'all listening, make sure you head on over to iTunes, hit us with a 5-star rating and review. When you're listening to this on social, make sure you hit us with a like and share this with the mortgage industry, because this makes us all better. Again, Anthony, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, Chris.